Hello, everyone. This is Waning Moonlight and shields. We all use them. Parry attacks, block some, or just for their effects, keeping them as nice backpacks. However, today, I want to see if I can beat the game using them. Just swinging a hunk of metal at people. But to begin, I have no plan for this. I have so little of a plan, I don't even choose the class that starts with a shield. Something in hindsight, I don't know why I didn't do. I never claimed to be smart, I just claimed to be good at the video game. But luckily, starting weapon, or I guess starting class doesn't matter because our starting shields are easy to get without even needing to fight a boss. Right down here, some of you may have noticed this chest but never opened it, is our first shield, the Crimson Parma. Now, I like to pick up this one because it matches the fit, the red. But speaking of fits, I want his. Gives me more souls, so obviously I'm gonna need that. But he didn't want to give it up. So kinda not cool, dude. But in all seriousness, yeah, this shield is not gonna last. Like 14 damage a hit. That's that kind of had my hopes pretty low for this run. But even with it broken, it was still only doing 14, which is crazy. So, Dragon Rider, gonna do the usual, of course. I'm gonna get it first try because, I play this game and I'm so good at it. With all those souls, it's actually quite handy. I mean, not only for leveling up, but because we need to repair our now broken weapon, which we can buy the blacksmith key right here. And then, of course, obviously, if you hear the name blacksmith key, then you know it's going to open the blacksmith shop and he can repair our weapons. Now, once again, in hindsight, well, I'm not sure if it's hindsight, but I'm pretty sure if I had bought Titanite, then upgraded my weapon, I think that repairs it. But I didn't do that, and it's already gone. We're moving on to the next shield. Jumping down here with that. If you didn't see, I had a small shield that I plunged attack with. It's alright if you didn't see it. But down here, you can pick up our next shield, the Rebel Shield. This is the shield that the Fume Knight used to wear. Or use? I don't know. And it actually became the main weapon of this run. It's actually very good defensively. As you can see the stats up here. But with that, we're on to the last giant, and I saw this man dual wielding great shields. And look, I don't need to summon. It's the last giant. But I need to summon a man rocking shields during a shield run. I feel like that's just the law. So, last giant, obviously, I was not looking forward to this. 10 damage a bop. And so I thought, alright, let's try the Great Shield. And 85 a swing? Now, that ain't too bad. In fact, some may even call that to be pretty good. Now, maybe that's just me being used to terrible weapons, but better than nothing. Better than the Crimson Parma, to say the least. And after breaking the last giant's ankles for a bit, we had won. No thanks to that guy, he kind of sucked. Probably made the fight harder. And I was like, well, this is a special weapon. It's going to take regular Titanite to upgrade? Awesome. I really thought I was going to be screwed needing Twinkling Titanite, but hey, I'll take it. And with that, we're moving on to the Pursuer. Now, I will admit, my ego was up. I mean, 184? That's good. He's going to be destroyed, right? And then he was not. First try, at least. The second try is a charm, and I've never actually had to refight him. He's always been a first try, so I didn't know when you re-challenge him, he'll come out as smoke like that. So that was kind of cool. But either way, he wasn't too difficult to fight. Just kind of strafed around him. I debated, like, it was so hard not to grab the ballistas and hit him with it. But here I learned this shield also does great poise damage. I mean, did you just see he got poise broken? This fight was actually a joke. Just bashing him with it and then him just falling over every once in a while. Believe it or not, he is not gonna be the last boss who we poise break often. And with that, we're off to the last Bastille to find our second blacksmith shop. And here is when I fully decided to commit to this shield. Originally, I was like, maybe I'll, try and swap off, but no, fully commitment. And with all this free titanite, I still upgraded it, just in case like this shield breaks mid-fight or something. But I only got to regular titanite upgrades. The rebel shield got all the large titanite. And that made my way over here in the last Bastille to be jump scared by another pursuer. Who could have guessed he was here? And he is not any better. The last one dropped a Ring of Blades, which affects physical damage, and well, the shield being upgraded, he was a piece of cake. But either way, next up is the Ruined Sentinels. And though I respect their use of shields, they mostly swing with their hammers, which isn't cool. But we are doing pretty good damage. Who would have thought a +6 weapon, like, early game would be, like, powerful? It was really no issue. About 300 a swing. He really stood no chance trying to solo me up here. Now, I was a little nervous for how the other two would go with their swinging, and usually it overlaps. But it was actually no issue. Just kind of I got a few double hits with it, which was crazy, and a few poise breaks too. So that's always good for me. And just took a few minutes, but they were gone. And with that, made my way all the way through the Lost Bastille, fought another pursuer. At this point, it's just for sport. It's for my entertainment to take these guys down. He dropped some Twinkling Titanite, which will be helpful later. And then finally, we're up here for the reason we came here, the bonfire aesthetic. Some of you may know what that's for, some of you may not. But I thought, you know what, while I'm here, I'm going to throw an attempt at the Lost Sinner. And though I have the key to go light the lights in the room, I didn't have a torch. And so I was like, if I lose, I'll grab a torch, do that. But actually, I didn't need to. That's right. Things went so well, I didn't need a rematch here. But really, it was kind of a pain. I'm sure you know the darkness really just affects your lock-on more than anything. So I spent just 3 minutes wandering around in the dark. She jumped away a lot, and the shield is kind of slow, so I missed a lot. Didn't get really any poise breaks, but I got her first try, and in the end, isn't that what matters? First trying a boss. But with her out of the way, that's our first Great Soul embraced, and obviously some decent money for leveling up. But the real reason I wanted to do it was for the Fragrant Branch of Yore. With that, it's time for a little collectathon. First, the cat ring. Gonna need that for the gutter when we go down there. And then we can go to the Shaded Woods. Here, we got a few things going on, starting with the Chloranthy ring, which is right up here. I don't know why. For a second, I thought that was one of the invisible guys about to attack me. Then we fought Najka, so then we could have some money for some life gems and the bright bugs. And also kind of out of spite, I don't like her. And our poise broke her a good bit throughout the fight, so that was nice. Then the Royal Rat Vanguard on our way down through the gutter was kind of a pain, just because the shield doesn't really extend that far, so you gotta get up close. But anyways, at the bottom of the gutter, things went really good for not being able to wield a shield. And then all of my clothes broke. That's awesome. So I decided to grind some souls in this early area because I only needed a few hundred. And that's when I remembered about this ring over here, actually, that restores health over time. Now, if you've never attacked with a shield, you may not know, but when you block, when you take a swing, it still blocks the attack. So I would only take chip damage, and that ring was to help with that. But anyways, the Rotten was the Rotten, and we will be fighting him several times. So, gonna have it on super speed up for my own sanity. There's not much to really say. I mean, he throws swings, I dodge left and right, I pop up right bug, and then he still takes pretty good damage to it. I didn't get hit too often throughout any of the fights. I only died once, which, that's pretty good. And the shield actually could block his big darkness AoE if I ever needed it to, and I would take very minimal damage, even on the new Game Plus cycles, which is great. Well, great for me, not for him, because that means he dies faster. But after using the bonfire sticks I had, we were still 100,000 souls short from opening the Shrine of Winter. So, thank goodness I had beaten Najka, because right after the Prowling Magus, who was the next fight after her, I was able to make my way all the way up here, say hello to our spider friends, who I do not actually like, and pick up another bonfire aesthetic so I could fight the Rotten again. And after seeing it 5 times speed, doesn't regular speed just look super slow? It looks slow to me. But he was taken out, and we were able to make our way into Drangleic Castle. Here, first off, I opened the door and came to collect the real prize here. Waiting for some stone soldiers, I shield bash them a little bit because I needed to open this door right here. And also, it was really funny. If I hit them when they were idle, it would wake them up immediately. But here, we grabbed the Faram armor, and we're able to make our way to the duo. But as we run up, I must ask you guys to subscribe. I put out challenge runs pretty frequently, and I'm trying to reach 400 subscribers by the end of April, the 1-year anniversary of my channel. I always do a special every 100 subscribers, so, if you find me funny, find me entertaining, you should subscribe. And then, here we are at the duo. Obviously, they weren't much of a challenge. I mean, you see how much one light swing did to Dragon Rider. I mean, to Dragon Rider, it didn't do as much, but to Dragon Rider, it did great damage. So it was pretty good. And then with Dragon Rider all out of the way, all we're going to have to fight is Dragon Rider. Now, here, we did take some decent damage if we tried blocking, which is why I didn't do it too much here. But one thing I hadn't talked about was poise. The armor that we had been wearing had so little poise, I was easily knocked out of swings. Which is why the Faram armor was great, because it means we could actually have a bit of poise as we swung. That doesn't really affect boss fights, but it affected regular enemies, so I wanted to talk about my own sanity there. And with all that out of the way, I was able to grab the key to the King's Passage, and it's time for the elevator. This entire video is on 2 times speed, and just this elevator, I always cut it out, but it's such a pain. I need you guys to all see, this is crazy, right? What on earth were they thinking, making that long elevator? Now, what was Vendrick thinking? planning that in. Either way, off to a great start here against the Looking Glass Knight. And I do gotta say, I respect his shield game. That's pretty cool shield he's got. And luckily, his shield actually didn't really become a problem in terms of blocking my attack. As I had said, the range of the shield isn't too far. Not that it never blocked the attack, it did stop me like once or twice. But either way, it was pretty simple. I mean, I know his moves decently enough to only be hit a few times. But what's funny here was when he went to summon. I had never poise broken him before, but I did it mid summon, and he was just straight up done after that. And in the end, before finishing off, I topped off and then beat him off. Wait. With the Shrine of Amana, pretty easy actually. I straight up just held up my shield and ran, and it worked. Like, usually that doesn't work, but I got it first try. Just shield up, run. So, obviously, I had some sort of luck boost going on because that is not right. And with all that, it was time for the boss of the area, the Demon of Song. And I want to know what was going through the developer's head when making this thing. I love this game, but like, what is this? Like, let's have an area full of mages, and then these knights, and then have like these ladies that sing to calm beasts. And let's make the final boss of this area a really weird, like, fleshy skull inside a frog suit from Mario 3. And you can only damage him when his face is out. Like, who comes up with these things? Just straight up, who does that? If anyone knows, do let me know, because I want to know why. Either way, this creature was no issue, and we were able to make our way here to this guy who's a straight up legend, not carrying one but two great shields. I can only wish I could be that cool. I haven't really mentioned it, but all I've leveled up is like health, nothing in strength or dexterity. But either way, then we made to fight these two, and I was actually really hoping one of them would drop one of their shields, because it would be really handy if they could. I didn't know this, but there are actually two different designs on each shield. And luckily, we got it in an armor piece. What they're for, well, I'll tell you next time. But first up, we got Velstadt. And this actually went pretty good. Did you know, apparently, like, every boss in this game is getting, like, destroyed by a shield? Poise broken by the shield. Like, that's crazy. I don't even get poise breaks wielding great swords. What is this shield doing? It was such an easy fight. It was crazy. I just broke his ankles a couple times, even when he went into second phase. It just took maybe like 2 minutes, and he was down for the count. And with that out of the way, we could grab the King's Ring. And you know what? I think it's time for a good old-fashioned detour. So, using a Fragrant Branch of Yore, I unfroze this guy, because you know what? I want some boss weapons. Obviously, need to beat him for the Fang Key, and which can unlock the weaponsmith over here, who will then move, and then we can go talk to her to buy the Mirror Shield, King's Mirror. I will not be using this thing, but I will be using that door we unlocked earlier. This, as I said, was important for our next boss fight. Who's our next boss fight? Well, isn't it obvious? We're going to go fight the Throne Watcher and Defender. Some of you may not know, but you can just fight them straight up right now. You don't need to wait for Nashandra or anything. My first time playing the game, I actually did this, and was like so confused, like, all right, I beat them. I'm at the throne. Can I beat the game now? I had no idea about, going to the dragon and then fighting the last giant, whatever, whatever. But why this shield? Well, it has 100% physical defense. And with 100% physical defense, it's a lot easier to push her off the ledge. That's some just great shield strategizing right there. And now the shield is a lot weaker than our rebel shield. I thought about using it, but it didn't feel right. So we swapped back. And without his buddy, this dude was just kind of too easy. I almost felt bad. Once again, a lot of poise breaks too. So this man was just kind of, he lost the moment his friend killed himself. And I just kind of circled around him. Even with his lightning sword, he dropped his shield, which meant he was just even easier to hit. And with that, we finally had enough souls to rock the full fit, and it feels so nice to finally be in the proper suit of armor. And now we were able to make our way into Aldea's Keep. And this dragon was actually really annoying this time around. He flew around and would fly around. And I did not block any of his attacks with my shield, which was really disappointing. I kind of wanted to, but it just did not work out. I wish there was like an Elden Ring, you get like a Moog shackle and a Morgott shackle. That'd be really cool for the dragon. Just have something to pull him out of the sky. Be like Twilight Princess. Give me a hook shot so I can get on this thing's back and fight it midair. That would be cool. But eventually it came down to the ground and I got to beat it the old-fashioned way, which still took a long time. Like, literally him flying around made his fight cause more time than probably like 80% of the other bosses I've done. But then we were able to make our way to the ancient dragon, almost dying, per usual, because who fights these guys? I was able to warp back to fight the last giant, but first Forlorn invaded because, of course he did. And I don't know if you've ever fought an invader using just a shield against a guy who's always backing up, but it took a minute. Legitimately, this was pretty much a huge waste of time the entire time. But eventually, after like beating him in the face, he finally would go down. And then once I could rest, get my healing back, it's time for the last giant lord. Same thing. There's honestly not much to it that I can say, except I actually got hit a good bit here. Though I may have the shield out, it does not block stomp attacks, which I understand, but it's also annoying. It is what it is. I break his ankles, and then with him, finally out of the way, we had a little trade. I was able to get that so we can go fight Nashandra. Now, overall, was this run any good? Honestly, I'd say yes. I would actually recommend using this shield if you ever try and do a shield only run. It does great poise damage. It does pretty respectable damage. 300 at +7. That's not even maxed out. And the only issue is it's like not 100% physical defense. I mean, you can infuse it, but I still don't think that would be enough to bring it up. But either way, shield run was fun, and Nashandra was pretty easy to take care of. I've kind of forgot. It's been a while since I fought her. I mean, like a whole 2 weeks. It's crazy, right? But her patterns It took me a second, so I got hit at the very start of the battle a good while. And there's just a lot of roll left, roll right, try and break her with the shield. And I did not get a poise break against her, which I don't know what if she even is poise breakable. Like, I don't know if the big monster bosses in this game have poise to be broken, unlike in Elden Ring. But I kind of thought she would because she's still kind of humanoid. I don't know. I'm not a game director. I'm just a guy who plays the games. And with a very close call, I definitely could have died there. She was taken down. So that does it for the shield run. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.